Greetings, Eric and Mark. Sorry about my lighting problem here. But I wanted to answer the next question about, or not, it wasn't a question. Eric was saying how humans just kill God, and God can't stop it. That is, nothing could be further from the truth, Eric. You are mistaken because you don't know the Bible. You assume that you do, like many arrogant atheists. And I do want to say, though, to both you and Eric and anybody who's watching this, I want to apologize for the harms, the hurt that churches and bad Christians did to you, false converts, or just messed up Christians. So I want to apologize. I know I was snarky and frustrated in the first 3 videos, but now I see that you guys kind of look like you've experienced some pain, and I would say especially Mark. But I don't know you guys. I'm just, it's just a sense. So I want to apologize. And for me, Christians hurt me from the time I was a little kid and, as an adult. And because human beings are messed up. And I know, I agree, I was in the New Age for about 30 years, like 27 years. And I preferred New Age people, yoga people, meditative people, because they weren't quite as messed up as, born and bred, people who inherited their Christian community from when they were a kid and just stayed in it. So that I just want to say that. But God totally planned for his crucifixion. He totally he was loud. He went silently to his execution. To the judges, the Roman, like Pilate and Herod. He went silently because this was his plan. This was the success. Had there been interference when Peter was trying to fend off the Roman soldiers or whatever, he would not have been able to defeat Satan. But the thing is, because of this thing that people, the payment of sins is through the shedding of blood. And because the life is in the blood and the wages of sin is death. So a death has to occur for payment for sin to be made. And so when Cain and Abel were worshiping God, Cain came and gave God the fruit and vegetables that he grew. And Abel, the better brother, the good brother, brought the best lamb and shed the blood of the lamb to pay for Abel's sins. And God was like, yes, I approve of you, Abel. And Cain, the vegetarian, killed his brother. And do we see that now? Do we see that with the misanthropic PETA activists, or the misanthropic alphabet activists, or the misanthropic race baiting activists, or environmental people, But I digress. So what Jesus did is he created a new covenant. He created a new, what's called a dispensation. He created a new dimension, actually. When he, Jesus, who is God, lived a sinless life and shed his blood. Because with the shedding of blood comes like a new time period. That's when the Old Testament ended. And a lot of misguided Christians will try to say, oh no, the Old Testament ended earlier when Jesus was still here. No, the Old Testament ended when Jesus died. And because he did his sacrifice. And I know this is like kind of high math, and it took me years to figure out too. And let me be clear, I am no authority. I just happen to be watching this video, and unfortunately, there like Christians may not be watching, like kind of hardcore Christians may not be watching your stuff. I don't know. They may not have the time. They may not have the um, ability to articulate. Uh, so here I am doing my poor attempt at answering your question. But yeah, so God knew this was going to happen, knew he was going to be killed. And that is just something that humans do, because afterwards, um, Stephen came to witness to the Jews, and he was killed by the Jews. And there was a few other instances as well. So it's just part of our fallen nature. This is just something that we're going to do because we are fallen, and we cannot do absolute perfection without God. So hopefully that answers that part of the question. And I really do sincerely relate to the pain that Christianity might have caused you, or religion, even organized religion might have caused you, or even people who had authority in your life that you were supposed to trust, and they failed miserably. And the catastrophes that you see in countries or in nature and so forth, um, like it is clear that you have a heart, and you have sympathy, and that's and I'm not saying it's irrelevant or whatever. But like, have you ever had to kind of go through some very difficult stuff in order to grow and have experiences? Unfortunately, existence isn't in like a chrysalis. We're not in a box with tissue paper. There's very powerful things that happen that can either bring out the best in us or bring out the worst in us. And I would say, like, the past few years with the whole brainwashing, propaganda, fear mongering, it brought out the worst in a lot of people, maybe most people, but it did bring out the best in a few. So yeah, it's a tough situation. We are in a tough situation, no doubt about it. But God, God is there. God is there for us. And I understand not feeling capable, or not even feeling willing, or not. I have a lot of skeptical friends, and it's God can handle you being skeptical. So you could be like, "Oh, I don't believe you, God, but if you're real, guide me." I don't really believe you, God, or I don't believe the Bible, or I don't believe Jesus, but if you are real, put a book in front of me, or a person, or something that really, really tells me the truth. Like, God will answer you. And I would say try to make some quiet time for yourself regularly, because Satan is also working on you. Like, demons are totally trying to demand your attention. So just know that there's like, this is God is not going to give something to you with a little silver spoon. Like, you have to fight for it. And I understand you're like, why do I have to fight for it? It's just this just how Because God is worth it. God is worth fighting for, and God believes in you, and he trusts you, and he will respond to you how you are. So if you're a skeptic, or if you're broken, or if you're traumatized or whatever, just talk to God. And I understand not everything's going to be a bed of roses at all, by any means. It's going to get worse, probably. I've got to say, things have been much more challenging since I've become a true Bible believer. So, but that's because Satan is out to destroy people who know the real truth of the Bible, because you will see very successful Christians, but they're preaching something false and fake, but the world loves it, So anyways, not to digress, I'm going to listen to the next part of the interview.